September 28, 1994 marks one of the darkest days in maritime history when the MS Estonia met her tragic fate. It was an unthinkable disaster, a catastrophe that etched its mark as one of the worst maritime disasters of the 20th century. The ship was bustling with life, carrying a total of 989 souls, including passengers and crew. But the voyage turned fatal, the official death toll standing at a staggering 852. The once bustling ferry sank into the chilling depths of the Baltic Sea, taking with her 852 souls. The MS Estonia was on her routine route from Tallinn, Estonia to Stockholm, Sweden. It was the 28th of September 1994, a night that would etch itself into maritime history as one of the deadliest peacetime sea disasters of the 20th century. As the ship sailed on, unbeknownst to her crew and passengers, a storm was brewing. The weather conditions that night were far from ideal. The Baltic Sea, usually calm and serene, was whipped up into a frenzy of strong winds and towering waves. The ship was tossed around like a toy in a bathtub, at the mercy of nature's wrath. As the tempest roared, the MS Estonia began experiencing a heavy starboard list. The ship leaned dangerously to one side, her bow pointing upwards in a silent plea to the heavens. But the heavens didn't heed her call. Instead, they sent down torrents of rain, filling the ship with icy Baltic water. The MS Estonia was in distress, fighting a losing battle against the elements. She started to sink, and she sank rapidly. The once mighty vessel, a symbol of human ingenuity and engineering, was reduced to a sinking hulk within minutes. In the midst of the storm, the crew managed to issue a distress call, a desperate cry for help that was unfortunately delayed due to a loss of power and communication issues. This was the beginning of a tragedy that would claim hundreds of lives, a tragedy that could have been avoided if only the storm had shown some mercy. The ship, overwhelmed by the merciless sea, began to sink stern first. As the brutal waves and winds battered the vessel, it took on a heavy starboard list, water pouring in. The ship's descent into the icy depths was swift. The crew's desperate distress call echoed out, but power loss and communication issues hampered rescue efforts. The chilling Baltic Sea showed no mercy to those on board. Most of the victims succumbed to drowning and hypothermia, their last moments spent in the frigid, unforgiving waters. Despite the chaos and the perilous conditions, a glimmer of hope emerged. 138 souls were plucked from the sea's icy grasp, surviving to tell the tale of this maritime disaster. Among the lost was the beloved Estonian singer Urmas Alender. His voice, once a source of joy and comfort to many, was silenced forever by the cold waters. It's a stark reminder that the sea, while beautiful and vast, can also be a cruel and unforgiving mistress. In total, only 94 bodies were recovered, leaving hundreds of families in perpetual uncertainty. The sinking of the MS Estonia was a catastrophe of epic proportions, but it also served as a wake-up call for maritime safety. The enormity of the disaster was not fully understood until subsequent analysis suggested a higher death toll than the official count of 852. This analysis painted an even grimmer picture of an already tragic event, indicating that the loss of life was even greater than initially reported. This horrific event sparked a global conversation around maritime safety. It was a stark reminder that the sea, despite our best efforts to tame it, remains a powerful and unpredictable force. The disaster led to significant changes in maritime safety regulations. Stricter guidelines were enforced for ship design with a particular focus on stability and buoyancy. Enhanced communication systems were installed on vessels to ensure that distress signals could be sent out promptly and reliably, even in the face of power loss. The importance of regular safety drills for both crew and passengers was emphasized, with the aim of better preparing everyone on board for potential emergencies. While these changes were a necessary response to the disaster, the impact of the MS Estonia tragedy extends beyond maritime regulations. It served as a stark reminder of our collective responsibility to prioritize safety over convenience or cost. It highlighted the importance of preparedness, of understanding the risks associated with sea travel, and of taking proactive measures to mitigate these risks. The sinking of the MS Estonia is a dark chapter in maritime history, but it's also a lesson in the power of nature, in the fragility of human life, and in our capacity to learn and adapt in the face of disaster. we encourage you all to learn more about maritime safety, to understand the measures in place to protect those who travel by sea, and to contribute to ongoing discussions and initiatives aimed at enhancing safety at sea. The MS Estonia tragedy continues to serve as a grim reminder of the importance of maritime safety, imploring us to ensure that such a disaster never repeats itself.